The Weather Experts, only on ABC 13.
Tonight on Nightline, high stakes. It was all eyes on Sarah Palin's performance at tonight's vice presidential debate. Did she rise to the occasion? Moment of truth. We're live in St. Louis with the verdict on Palin versus Biden. So who won? And who might have hurt their presidential candidate? And the grades are in. George Stephanopoulos is back to score tonight's face-off in the Nightline report card.
From the global resources of ABC News, with Martin Bashir and Cynthia McFadden in New York City, and Terry Moran at the vice presidential debate in St. Louis, Missouri. This is Nightline, October 2nd, 2008.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Terry Moran. Well, Saturday Night Live might have to change their script now. Sarah Palin, much mocked by comedians and others after a couple of rocky weeks on the trail, she came into this hall tonight, which they're tearing down behind me, with so much pressure on her. The vice presidential debate that ended here at Washington University a little while ago was so eagerly anticipated. Would Palin somehow collapse into incoherence or ignorance on that stage, as the parodies and some pundits predicted? Would Joe Biden run off at the mouth or commit some dreadful faux pas? Well, in the end, this turned out to be a pretty normal debate. Substantive, not terribly revealing, tightly structured and formatted with polite, open-ended questions, giving both candidates plenty of opportunities to fall back on scripted responses and stump speeches. The stakes, however, were high.
Welcome Governor Palin and Senator Biden.
And there she was. Sarah Palin came out for her big showdown with Joe Biden, brimming with confidence.
Hey, can I call you Joe? Okay, good.
But then they went at it, and Palin's strategy was clear from the first question on the economy. Let Palin be Palin, the hockey mom trying to connect with the soccer moms.
You know, I think a good barometer here as we try to figure out, has this been a good time or a bad time in America's economy, is go to a kid's soccer game on Saturday and turn to any parent there on the sideline and ask them, how are you feeling about the economy? And I'll bet you're going to hear some fear.
Joe Biden's strategy was clear, too. Ignore Palin, go after John McCain.
John McCain said at 9 o'clock in the morning that the fundamentals of the economy were strong. 2 weeks before that, he said, George, we've made great economic progress under George Bush's policies. 9 o'clock, the economy was strong. 11 o'clock that same day, 2 Mondays ago, John McCain said that we have an economic crisis.
They were a study in contrast up there. Biden, white-haired and a bit low-key at first, picking up energy as the debate went on. Palin, full of energy and folksiness, lacing her answers with down-home colloquialisms.
Darn right, Joe Six-Pack, hockey moms across the nation, Wasilla Main Street, and heaven forbid, bless their hearts, we have an opportunity to learn a heck of a lot of good lessons through this and say, never again will we be taken advantage of.
Palin went on the offensive against her critics right off the bat, making her unique style a strength.
And I may not answer the questions the way that either the moderator or you want to hear, but I'm going to talk straight to the American people and let them know my track record also.
Both candidates seemed well prepared. They came armed with zingers on health care. Biden blasted McCain's plan to offer a $5,000 tax credit for consumers to use to purchase health care.
So you're going to have to replace a $12,000 plan with a $5,000 check you've just given to the insurance company. I call that the ultimate bridge to nowhere.
Thank you, Senator. Now,
on energy, Palin went on the attack.
Barack Obama and Senator Biden, you've said no to everything in trying to find a domestic solution to the energy crisis that we're in. You even called drilling safe, environmentally friendly drilling offshore as raping the outer continental shelf. There, with new technology, with tiny footprints even on land, it is safe to drill, and we need to do more of that.
Then, surprising agreement between these candidates on civil rights for gays and lesbians.
Senator, do you support gay marriage?
No, Barack Obama nor I support redefining from a civil side what constitutes marriage. We do not support that.
Your question to him was whether he supported gay marriage, and my answer is the same as his, and it is that I do not.
Wonderful, you agree. On that note, let's move to foreign policy.
Okay.
After some shaky interviews recently, Palin came into this debate with a lot of people expecting her to flounder or stumble, but she was confident up there, leveling a tough accusation on Iraq.
Your plan is a white flag of surrender in Iraq.
In response, a bit of classic Joe Biden.
John McCain has been dead wrong. I love him. As my mother would say, God love him, but he's been dead wrong on the fundamental issues relating to the conduct of the war. Barack Obama has been right.
And Biden drove home the main message of the Democratic ticket. McCain equals Bush.
The issue is, how different is John McCain's policy going to be than George Bush's? I haven't heard anything yet. I haven't heard how his policy is going to be different on Iran than George Bush's. I haven't heard how his policy is going to be different with Israel than George Bush's. I haven't heard how his policy in Afghanistan is going to be different than George Bush's. I haven't heard how his policy in Pakistan is going to be different than George Bush's. It may be, but so far, it is the same as George Bush's.
One question, though, did seem to take Palin by surprise, and for a moment, perhaps, a glimpse of unsteadiness.
What should be the trigger, or should there be a trigger, when nuclear weapons use is ever put into play?
Nuclear weaponry, of course, would be the be-all, end-all of
But she soldiered on, regained her footing, and went at Biden hard on his record on Iraq.
Oh, man, it's so obvious that I'm a Washington outsider and someone just not used to the way you guys operate, because here you voted for the war and now you oppose the war. You're one who says, you know, as so many politicians do, I was for it before I was against it.
As the debate wore on, a slashing attack from Biden brought a quick response from Palin.
Look, all you got to do is go down Union Street with me in Wilmington and go to Katie's restaurant or walk into Home Depot with me where I spend a lot of time, and you ask anybody in there whether or not the economic and foreign policy of this administration has made them better off in the last 8 years. And then ask them whether there's a single major initiative that John McCain differs with the president on.
Say it ain't so, Joe. There you go again, pointing backwards again, though. You prefaced your whole comment with the Bush administration. Now, doggone it.
With a few minutes left, a question about what strengths and weaknesses the candidates bring to the race brought Biden back to tough times in his life and to tears.
Now, but the notion that somehow, because I'm a man, I don't know what it's like to raise 2 kids alone. I don't know what it's like to have a child you're not sure is going to make it.
At the end, Sarah Palin seemed to feel she'd made it, gotten her message across the way she wanted to.
I would like more opportunity for this. I like being able to answer these tough questions without the filter even of the mainstream media.
Overall, this was a debate not marked by fireworks or flare-ups. There was almost a warmth between these candidates. And as they stepped off, they each likely believed they'd done here what they came to do. And that was basically delivering their talking points. Neither one really engaged the other with any vigor. Neither one tripped up the other, but one of them won. And when we come back, George Stephanopoulos joins us for the Nightline report card, and he'll tell us who won tonight's debate.
All around the world, men with erectile dysfunction have taken 36-hour Cialis. Today, men can also be ready with another dosing option, Cialis for daily use, a clinically proven low-dose tablet you take every day, so you can be ready anytime the moment is right.
Tell your doctor about your medical condition and all medications, and ask if you're healthy enough for sexual activity. Don't take Cialis if you take nitrates for chest pain, as this may cause an unsafe drop in blood pressure. Don't drink alcohol in excess with Cialis. Side effects may include headache, upset stomach, delayed backache, or muscle ache. To avoid long-term injury, seek immediate medical help for an erection lasting more than 4 hours. If you have any sudden decrease or loss in hearing or vision, stop taking Cialis and call your doctor right away.
36-hour Cialis or Cialis for daily use. Ask your doctor if a Cialis option is right for you, so when the moment is right, you can be ready.
God forbid an anthrax outbreak.
I understand why you bring this up at lunch.
You may find yourself in a beautiful house. You may ask yourself, how did I get here?
What is our exit strategy on Iraq? There is no exit.
Based on the unbelievable true story of George W. Bush.
I can see all these latte-sipping lefties going nuts again.
Fiasco.
And the $1 trillion mistake.
Like we owe them an explanation.
Josh Brolin is W. Rated PG-13 in theaters October 17th.
Bill Maher and actress-singer Jennifer Hudson on an all-new Jimmy, coming up on ABC.
Harvey Keitel, Michael Imperioli, Gretchen Mol, Jason O'Mara.
When my time is done, they will say he has been here. That I am sure.
ABC's Life on Mars premieres next Thursday at 10/9 Central after a new Grey's Anatomy on ABC.
Met Tom Perriello yet? A New York lawyer who's moved back to Virginia to run for Congress, but his liberal policies are still from New York. Perriello opposes the offshore and Alaskan drilling we need to lower gas prices, opposes the Marriage Protection Amendment, which protects traditional marriage, and Perriello supports the so-called comprehensive immigration reform. We know what that means: amnesty and open borders for illegal immigrants. Tom Perriello, wrong for Virginia.
I'm Virtual Coot, and I approve this saying.
And so the vice presidential debate is done. The candidates have spoken. How'd they do in this one-on-one, one chance to face off with each other? Our chief Washington correspondent, George Stephanopoulos, is back to grade tonight's performance in the Nightline report card as they hammer away at dismantling the set behind us. George, first, what each candidate wanted to do, what they achieved, strategy, the first subject. What's the grade?
The most important subject in the grade is A for Joe Biden, A- for Sarah Palin. What was Joe Biden's strategy? It was clearly he was going to debate John McCain tonight. He was not going to debate Sarah Palin, and he was going to do everything he could to say that John McCain would be a continuation of George W. Bush's presidency. That is the fundamental strategy of the Obama campaign, and Joe Biden hit it in every single answer tonight. He was coherent. He was consistent. Now, Sarah Palin did quite well also. She showed she could handle the debate question. She had a strategy to show herself as a Washington outsider who, in her own words, could connect with the heartland and to portray Barack Obama as a liberal, to try to drive a little bit of a wedge between Barack Obama and Joe Biden, particularly on the issue of Iraq. But on the fundamental core strategy of the campaigns, I think Biden gets the edge here, because if John McCain cannot convince the country he's taking it in a different direction from President Bush, he cannot win this race, and that's the case that Joe Biden made tonight.
So a couple of high grades on the strategy. Now, they were a study in contrasts up there, so let's turn to style.
And different grades there. We have an A- for Joe Biden and an A for Sarah Palin. And Sarah Palin had the style points from even before the debate began. You noticed that when she walked out and said, "Nice to meet you, Joe. Can I call you Joe?" And then you saw that kind of folks.
She got under his skin a little
right,
bit, right.
But it was also just very winning. It was very appealing. And you saw that throughout the debate. I think we have some video here also. I think she tried the wink to the audience about 4 or 5 times over the course of the debate, and I think she really was connecting back home with the people at home. Joe Biden, much more of a prosecutorial style, kind of a just the facts style. He said that several times over the course of the debate. The good thing for Biden is that the facts, on a lot of the issues, the country agrees more with Joe Biden, right now at least, than it does with Sarah Palin. And I think over the course of the debate, at first he was, as you said, he started out a little bit slow. He started out a little bit prosecutorial. He did get a little more emotional towards the end, connect with the audience a little better at the end, but a slight edge here to Governor Palin.
And quickly, George, what did you make of that moment when Joe Biden seemed to be very emotional when talking about his children in the hospital after his wife and daughter were killed?
He caught himself up over the course of that moment, and I think you did see real tears there. What must have been going through his mind was the fact that his son, Beau, is going to be going to Iraq over the weekend. He's going to be sending one of his sons off. There was one other moment on style that I have to pick up on Senator Biden. You noticed that during the debate on Afghanistan, Governor Palin called the commanding general of Afghanistan General McClellan twice. Now, Joe Biden knew that the general's name is General David McKiernan, and you could just see him holding back, that he had been told, and he was determined not to correct her, not to give her that opening, and he didn't. He just said commanding general.
Interesting. All right, final subject here, accuracy. How'd they do?
B's, both got B's, Joe Biden and Sarah Palin. Both made some misstatements. I think that, when Joe Biden said that Barack Obama never said he would meet with the president of Iran, he was wrong there. When he said that John McCain voted exactly the same way as Barack Obama on a tax vote, he was wrong there. Sarah Palin was wrong when she said that Joe Biden has that Barack Obama has voted to increase taxes 94 times when she said that the government is going to take over health care. But so they were about even on this, but these are kind of garden variety political exaggerations and misleading attacks.
It's more or less what you expect in a debate. But the bottom line here, who's the winner, George?
Joe Biden, but boy, this was close. I think that Governor Palin did an awful lot to help herself tonight. There is no question that she beat expectations, that she was fluent, that she showed she could stand up there on the stage. She laid a couple of attacks there against Barack Obama. But going back to my first point on overall strategy, right now this is a race where if John McCain cannot convince the country that he's going to take it in a different direction from President Bush, he simply cannot win. He comes into this debate tonight, his team comes into this debate tonight behind, probably 5 or 6 points behind. In fact, McCain campaign pulled out of the state of Michigan today, so they're basically giving up on the state of Michigan. So even though Governor Palin may have done something to stop the slide for John McCain, there was no circuit breaker tonight, no big game-changing argument that can get the momentum back to John McCain. Only John McCain can do that for himself. The next debate is on Tuesday.
And that one, no question about it, is a lot of pressure on John McCain. Thanks, George. Thanks very much for the Nightline report card tonight. And you can offer your own grades on tonight's debate. You may agree with George, you might disagree with him by clicking on the Nightline page at abcnews.com. And when we come back, they'll continue to tear down this stage rather loudly, obviously. And we'll ask, will tonight's debate change the race? We'll ask some of our experts.
We had a health concern. Turned out to be nothing, but it got us doing more to protect our health, like taking silver.
Centrum Silver age-adjusted multivitamins have key antioxidants that help support natural cell repair.
Our health protection starts with Centrum Silver.
You're fighting one of the most powerful corporations in the world.
Rolling Stone cheers. Flash of Genius is a David and Goliath tale that recalls Frank Capra's Mr. Smith Goes to Washington.
What they did was downright wrong.
Flash of Genius. Rated PG-13. Starts tomorrow.
What a week. Democrats blamed Republicans. Republicans blamed Democrats. We're the United States of America. It shouldn't take a crisis to pull us together. We need a president who can avert crisis, put people back to work, grow our economy, and move people from surviving to thriving. We need leadership without painful new taxes. That will make our country strong again. I'm John McCain, and I approve this message.
Where does it hurt?
My aching shoulder.
Introduce yourself to Thermacare Heat Wraps. Real penetrating heat that delivers targeted pain relief right where it hurts.
This is working.
Try Thermacare Heat Wraps and wear it where it hurts.
I'm in the Vatican. Religious is a blasphemous damnation of all things holy.
Why doesn't God obliterate the devil?
He will.
He will. What's he waiting for?
Bill Maher has turned religion on its ear.
Welcome to Bible country!
Religious, rated R. In theaters everywhere tomorrow.
Friday, the only place to see both presidential candidates and their wives opening up.
Was there a point at which you thought I'm leaving?
In an all-new TV event.
What was it to grow up with money?
Is on a must-see Diane Sawyer special, Friday at 10/9 Central on ABC.
The next 3 questions are very important to you. Who is the only car dealer in Central Virginia with 3 locations and 5 dealerships? Where can you find over 600 new and used vehicles? How does this benefit me? Who? Mabry Automotive of Central Virginia. Where? Mabry Automotive is Lynchburg, Nissan, and Mazda, Route 221 Forest, and Lynchburg, Mitsubishi, Hyundai, Suzuki, Old Forest Road. How? Buying power at the factories, huge selection, and guaranteed credit approval. Nobody beats a Mabry Automotive deal.
On healthcare reform, 2 extremes. On one end, government-run healthcare, higher taxes. On the other, insurance companies without rules denying coverage. Barack Obama says both extremes are wrong. His plan? Keep your employer-paid coverage. Keep your own doctor. Take on insurance companies to bring down costs. Cover pre-existing conditions and preventive care. Common sense for the change we need.
I'm Barack Obama, and I approve this message.
Darren! Papa John's is here!
Everyone's excited for this year's biggest adventure.
The big taste of the XL Explorer Pizza. 30% bigger than our large. With your choice of any 3 toppings. A big deal at $13.99. Plus, get a $3 off coupon for Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull on DVD. Call or click papajohns.com.
Better ingredients, better pizza, Papa John's.
Nightline continues from St. Louis, Missouri, with Terry Moran.
And now it's souvenir picture-taking time behind me on the stage, and we're going to welcome ABC News consultants Donna Brazil and Matt Dowd for their take on tonight's vice presidential debate. Donna, let me begin with you. Sarah Palin, so much pressure on her coming into tonight's debate. The expectations, in some ways, were so low, you've got to say she exceeded them substantially.
Well, first of all, I think conservatives are breathing a lot easier tonight because of her performance. She dug herself in the hole before this debate, and tonight she sort of dug herself back up to being able to go toe-to-toe with Joe Biden. Joe Biden clearly gave the performance of a lifetime. He was good on the economy. People came across knowing that Joe is somebody that you could meet in Home Depot. He understands middle-class issues. So overall, I give the debate to Joe Biden tonight.
And Matt, is it fair to say that coming into this debate, Sarah Palin, given what the polls were showing about doubts about her, she could have perhaps lost the election for the Republican ticket had she lived up to that cartoon version of her, but she didn't.
No, she did better than expected. I think Joe Biden won this. I think he won it by a bigger margin than Barack Obama won last week. But yeah, she did better than expected. The problem is that it's like a second baseman turning a double play, and if they've dropped the ball 3 or 4 times in a row and then they finally catch the ball, you know, that's what she did. She survived, she got through it, she connected well on some things, but I think in the end, the problem for John McCain in this thing is that as each day goes forward where he is losing this race, he has to get some victories in some of these events. And the 2 big events that have happened so far, he hasn't got a victory in it yet, and that's a bad place to be in this environment.
Well, let's talk about the race. Donna, first, do you agree with Matt that this isn't a game changer, a circuit breaker, as George Stephanopoulos called it, and what can be for McCain?
Look, John McCain announced today at least a campaign that they're pulling out of Michigan. Can you imagine pulling out of Michigan? Last week he suspended his campaign. Tonight he's pulling out of a major state, one of the big 4 states out there. So I think that going forward, the economy is the #1 issue. Voters understand that we're in a crisis, and they want someone that they can trust. They want change. And I think tonight what Sarah Palin tried to do was bring the conversation back to change. But it's hard to do it when the president, who is sitting in the White House right now, belongs to the same party that you are running on. So I think overall Joe Biden connected with middle-class undecided voters, and he reassured them that Senator Obama has a plan to get us out of this mess.
Well, what's happening here in this race, Matt? This pulling out of Michigan, essentially taking down his ads and reducing staff and surrendering Michigan essentially to Barack Obama. Why and where does he go instead?
Well, he's in a difficult spot now. I mean, he got a bump coming out of the convention, as we all know, because this brand new Sarah Palin. He got a bump, and then the race went back to a slight Obama lead. And then all of this crisis in the financial markets, putting an exclamation point on the economy, which Barack Obama has a definitive advantage on. And so as this race becomes about the economy, as the general public does not like the incumbent party in the office, which the Republicans, he's in a difficult spot. He's in now pulling out of Michigan. And for a hockey mom to pull out of a state that is home of Hockey Town, which is Detroit, and this is where I grew up, that is a significant thing to do. So he's put in the position, he has to win both debates, I think. He has to win both debates coming up, John McCain does. And then he has to basically draw an inside straight with the states that he has left, because he's basically not competing in any of the blue states anymore, with the exception of New Hampshire. And so he's got to win almost every single thing on the board, but he's got to win next week's debate, and he's got to win the debate after that to re-get this race back into a place where he's competitive again.
It's a tall order, given where the polls show this race is going. Thanks very much, Donna and Matt, for that. And when we come back, we'll break down the post-debate spin.
ABC News Nightline, brought to you by Campbell's.
just how much water vegetables need to be perfect. So to turn those vegetables into condensed soup, we don't boil it down. Our chefs just add less water from the start. Campbell's condensed soups. Like always, they're not full of water. They're full of flavor.
So many, many reasons it's so good.
Across the country, critics are raving about the movie that's being called a masterful triumph.
I'm a new city marshal, dead man.
Peter Travers of Rolling Stone raves Appaloosa delivers thunderous action and nail-biting suspense. Harris and Mortensen make a knockout team.
Can't finish my coffee first. You surely may.
It's a classic in the tradition of Unforgiven.
I'd rather I'll be afraid.
Feelings get you killed.
Appaloosa, rated R. Now playing in select cities everywhere this Friday.
If you thought last season's families were insane, you'll love Richard.
You know what you sound like?
Here's how I handle this.
An all-new season of Wife Swap premieres tomorrow, 8/7 Central on ABC.
When our economy's in crisis, a big government casts a big shadow on us all. Obama and his liberal congressional allies want a massive government. Billions in spending increases, wasteful pork. And we would pay painful income taxes, skyrocketing taxes on life savings, electricity and home heating oil. Can your family afford that?
I'm John McCain, and I approve this message.
Starting a new garden doesn't have to be backbreaking. Not when you have the Mantis Tiller Cultivator. It does all the hard work for you. The powerful two-cycle engine spins the patented tines deep into the soil. It cuts through the hardest clay and tangled weeds, yet maneuvers nimbly through the tightest spaces. Now get this amazing Mantis at huge factory direct savings. Plus, we'll give you this border edger free. Call now for complete information.
1-800-504-6408.
All across our nation, millions of reliable individuals join the ranks of the self-employed. These dependable entrepreneurs provide their service and skills to a vast and varied people, pumping life into the greatest country in the world. These dedicated individuals have chosen a career where they pay 100% of their health insurance premiums, resulting in many carrying no insurance at all. That's where we help. We provide affordable health insurance to Americans whose dreams are as big as their hearts. We're the Mega Life and Health Insurance Company. For affordable health insurance, call 1-800-327-7914. That's 1-800-327-7914. When entrepreneurs need reliable, affordable health insurance, they turn to the dependable specialists at the Mega Life and Health Insurance Company. Call 1-800-327-7914. That's 1-800-327-7914.
I mean, I did lose some weight. I get really hungry in the afternoon.
And that is when I crave strawberry shortcake.
Oh, I want some right now. No. Key lime pie.
Boston cream pie.
Ooh, have
Boston cream pie? Ladies, please don't.
Richard,
No, listen. You need to exercise. Richard, you need to know your worth. Farewell to fat. Yes.
Yoplait Light. With 28 delicious flavors at 100 calories, it only sounds fattening.
Keep it up, girls. Believe in you. I believe in you.
Forecast backed by the AMS seal from the ABC 13 weather experts.
Well, you know, the spin has already begun here, and Kate Snow has been covering this campaign from the beginning and has been in the spin room here in St. Louis. So, first, is there a sense of relief did you get on either or both sides?
I'd say on both sides, actually, because I think going in, both sides had a challenge, obviously. You've been talking about this all night. Granted, Sarah Palin's challenge was maybe even larger than Joe Biden's, but relief on both sides. I would say probably a little more relief on the Republican side, on Sarah Palin's team, just because they knew that if she had made one huge factual error, or as you said, sort of fell down, it would be all the talk. And they feel like they're thrilled. They feel that she won this thing hands down.
And on the Democratic side, a little relief there as well?
Relief that it went very well, and they think that he was solid, that Joe Biden, and again, his challenge was not to be too long-winded, not to make any gaffes, not to say anything inappropriate, not to treat her, not to be seen as treating her disrespectfully, perhaps, male-female thing. And they think none of that happened. So, and they think that both sides think this was an interesting, provocative debate. where people learn something about both candidates' positions.
All right, from tonight, where does this race go now?
Oh, that's a good question. You know, Sarah, as far as the vice presidents are concerned, Sarah Palin, with our latest ABC News poll, has had, in the last week, a negative effect on the McCain campaign. So I think it'll be interesting to see now whether that backs off a little bit, whether this debate really matters, and whether that's able to soften some of the blow that she's taken over the last week on her side.
And Biden will go out and keep hitting John McCain as he has.
That's right.
Kate Snow will be with them both, and thanks very much for that. As the lights go down behind us, we'll be back in just a moment. Okay, well, I know actually we want from the presidential campaign to the president. ABC News poll released Tuesday. President Bush's approval rating is now at a career low, 26%, I'm reading here. But to provocative filmmaker Oliver Stone, a classmate of Bush's at Yale, the outgoing president is not just a failure, he's a dangerous man, as he told me in an interview earlier this week, which you'll see on tomorrow night's show.
I don't underestimate George Bush. I don't misunderestimate him at all. I think that he's a very dangerous man.
Dangerous?
Are you joking? We have 2 wars going. We have an economy in tatters, and he's not dangerous. He's going to upset and ruin most of our lives, I think.
All right, Oliver Stone tomorrow night. That's our report for tonight. I'm Terry Moran. For Cynthia McFadden, Martin Bashir, and all of us at ABC News, good night, America.